Imagine you wake up in the middle of the night, the room wrapped in a darkness that feels alive, pulsing like a distant heart in the void of space. And as you reach across the bed, your hand touches only cold, empty sheets while a whispering voice echoes in your mind. Not the voice of a cheating lover, but something far older, far more merciless, revealing that what you once called love was nothing more than bait in a cosmic web, woven by entities who laugh at human fragility. And if the embrace that once comforted you was only a convenience to lure you toward the eternal abysswood, you keep your eyes closed or plunge into madness to uncover the truth. My name was Elena, or at least that S, what they used to call me before the stars began to whisper secrets no mortal should ever hear, turning my existence into a faint echo of something greater and indifferent. I lived in a forgotten coastal town where the sea crashed against the cliffs like an eternal lament. The salty air mixed with the stench of rotting seaweed, and the wind carried the murmurs of distant storms. Victor, the man I thought was my refuge, appeared in my life like a shadow cast by a moon too full to be natural. He was tall, with eyes that seemed like bottomless wells, reflecting constellations that shifted every time I blinked, and his skin was always cold, as if touched by the void between the stars. We met in an old bookstore, the kind with shelves creaking under the weight of forbidden tomes. He smiled at me, a smile that promised worlds beyond the visible, and invited me for coffee. That coffee stretched into nights of conversations about dreams and the mysteries of the universe. I fell in love with him more, at least with what I thought love was: his touch, an anchor in the midst of my loneliness. The smell of ether and incense clinging to him like a comforting mist. Yet beneath it, a subtle distrust grew, like a crack in a mirror, slowly distorting reality. At first, it was nothing more than jealousy, the kind I blamed on my own insecurity, the scars of past relationships leaving invisible fractures in my heart. Victor traveled often, claiming he was an amateur astronomer, spending long nights in isolated mountain observatories where the stars seemed close enough to touch. When he returned, his eyes were glazed, distant, as if part of him had remained among the indifferent constellations. I found strands of blonde hair on his clothes knot, my NAND encrypted messages on his phone, symbols resembling ancient runes mixed with phrases like "the alignment is near" and "she is perfect for the ritual." Every discovery tightened my chest. The air in the house grew heavy, oppressive, as if the ceiling itself was lowering millimeter by millimeter. I lay awake at night, the sound of the waves outside morphing into muffled laughter of entities mocking my naivety. Was there another woman, someone younger, more mysterious, who pulled him away from me? Distrust grew like a poisonous vine, taking root in my dreams, where I saw him in the arms of an ethereal figure, her body glowing with stellar light that burned his flesh, leaving marks I later saw in reality, red and pulsing across his chest. I tried to ignore it, convincing myself it was paranoia, but the nights grew stranger. The sky above our town shifted in subtle ways, constellations forming that existed on no star chart, as if cosmic eyes were opening above our home. During these nights, Victor became more affectionate, holding me with a desperation bordering on despair, whispering promises of eternity together, but his kisses tasted bitter, like the dust of dead stars, and I felt a coldness spreading through my veins, as though something alien was infiltrating me through him. One night, while he slept, I searched his belongings and found an old Dorit's yellowed pages reeking of mold and something else, a cosmic sulfur. It contained notes about the great convenience and sketches of spirals that seemed to move endlessly, making my vision blur just by looking at them. On one page, he had written, "She doesn't know, but her love is the key." My heart stopped. The room spun as if the floor had become a vortex, pulling me downward. Suspicion became obsession. I followed him one night, driving along the winding road to the observatory. The car shook as the wind howled like lost souls. Beneath the open dome, I saw him not alone, but surrounded by something unseen, his body convulsing as he whispered to the stars, as if invisible tentacles brushed against him. My days blurred into a haze of tension, my mind fragmenting with visions I blamed on stress, shadows moving in the corners of my eyes, whispers in languages that echoed like a reversed Big Bang, and dreams where I floated in the void, surrounded by vast, indifferent entities whose forms defied human geometry, laughing at my illusion of love. Victor noticed my distance, pulling me close with hands that now felt like soft claws, saying, "You are everything to me, Elena, my anchor in this chaos." But his words rang hollow, like echoes across a stellar abyss. I wondered if the chaos was him or something he had summoned. One stormy night, with the sea roaring like a primordial beast, I confronted him. The lights flickered in the house, as if the universe itself blinked back. He denied everything at first, his eyes flashing with a non-human glow. But when I showed him the diary, he collapsed to his knees in the rain pouring through open windows, sobbing black tears under the weak light. "It's not what you think," he whispered, voice ragged like wind between galaxies. "It's not simple betrayal. It's something greater, something that consumes us all. That S, when the truth unraveled like a cosmic ribbon, unfurling into infinity-revealing layers of horror that made ordinary infidelity seem like a child-s consolation." Victor confessed he never loved me, not in the mortal sense I imagined. Our meeting at the bookstore hadn't been chanced, it was orchestrated. A calculated convenience. Part of a ritual he had prepared for years, after studying forbidden texts, the Necronomicon among them. According to legend, it contained keys to portals beyond the stars. "There are entities in the void, Elena," he said, pupils dilated into black holes, ancient beings that feed not on bodies, but on souls bound by illusions of love. I summoned them years ago on a night of stellar alignment. I promised them the perfect offering, a pure heart freely given out of convenience. In return, they gave me eternal knowledge. The air vibrated, reality tearing at the edges. I felt the cold embrace of cosmic tentacles around my mind. Visions of galaxies colliding, planets crushed into dust, humans reduced to meaningless motes dancing before indifferent gods. Victor had chosen me because I was lonely, vulnerable. My natural distrust was the catalyst that strengthened the bond, making my essence all the more delicious to the entities he served. This wasn't marital betrayal, it was a cosmic trap. My love was the bait, and I was the sacrifice, fueling a ritual to open a portal in our home, summoning Azathoth, or something worse. I ran into the storm, the sea below churning into a vortex of black foam, stars falling like flaming tears. Victor chased me to the cliffs, screaming that it was too late, that the alignment had begun. My mind shattered under the weight of Vision's galaxies imploding, the stench of ozone and cosmic sulfur thick in the air. We fought there on the edge of the abyss, the wind howling like a chorus of madmen. His eyes were now portals to the void, and as he gripped me, he whispered, "It was only convenience, Elena, but now you are part of it, eternal, in chaos." And then, from the ruins of my broken soul, something awakened. I remembered an amulet my grandmother had given me, a pendant of starstone she said would protect me from the eyes beyond. My hands trembling, I pressed it against his chest, reciting the forgotten verse she used to murmur. In the void, mortal light shines, banishing the whispers of the eternal. An explosion of light erupted, not white, but colors beyond human comprehension. Victor screamed, his body convulsing as invisible tentacles dragged him back into the abyss. He disintegrated into cosmic dust, carried away by the storm, leaving only the faint echo of mocking laughter. I fell to my knees as the portal closed with a thunderous roar that shook the earth. But the final cruelty was this: I now carried their knowledge. Eternal whispers lodged in my mind, revealing that human love is nothing more than convenience for forces greater than us. That we are pawns in a cosmic game where betrayal is the least of horrors. Today, I wandered the shadows of this town, eyes fixed on the stars that blink like malicious eyes. The true cruelty is not the loss of a false love, but the insignificance of everything we feel, devoured by vast, indifferent entities. And you, have you ever felt that your love was just a piece in a larger, cruel, cosmic puzzle? If this left you hollow, it's because this story was meant to find you, for the stars align for you. Share in the comments if something like this has haunted you, and subscribe to the channel. But only if you dare to face more truths the universe hides in the dark.